And we've got a few more gentlemen in the back. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome, allies.
Welcome, allies. Great.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you.
Come on up further. We have lots more
come.
chairs up here, so let's get cozy. And that includes our dudes,
Allies as well.
our ally dudes. Good, good, good. Come on up, ladies. There's 3 or 4 more seats here. I want everybody close enough to cuddle.
And we want to have a conversation, so we need to be closer.
Yes, we do.
And we have probably a lot of people online, so thank you.
Where are the cameras? Hello.
Hello.
Hello, online.
Thank you for joining here. I know it's raining and everyone wants to go home, but this is so much better.
This is great.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone who joined online, because I know we have people from around the world, probably, who cannot be here for justified reason, but they are here and they're going to be part of conversation. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah. Thanks for
Thank
having
you for
me.
joining us. And thank you for, first of all, being a role model. I can say that for many of us at OutSystems. And thank you for championing women. And I think it's something very important that we cherish, not only at OutSystems, but also with our community. 2 years ago, DevRel team had this idea that we really need to do something for women, because we knew that compared to technology in general, OutSystems has slightly higher percentage of female developers than the technology. We still have a lot of work to do, obviously, but that was one of the things that proved us that we might try to do something for our community. And we started the Women Plus OutSystems user group. Luckily, our community picked up very fast, and now we have 3 amazing organizers. None of them is here because one is in Brazil, one is in Netherlands, and one is just about to have a baby, as women do. So I just wanted to say a big thank you to Mariana, Marlish, and Ines, who are organizers of this user group for the past year and have many successful events, and I hope you keep joining them.
Yeah.
Big round of applause for them. There is another group of people, organizers of the Lisbon user group, that usually have this space for them. And today they join, so it's a joint user group. So I would like to thank to Olga, Sofia, Nuno, Tiago.
Oh, they're not here. Okay.
Yes.
But they are also user group organizers, so you can also thank them.
Good.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for your
everyone.
work, and thank you for being here. So let's kick off. It's important to say that we want to make this a conversation. So we want to hear your opinions as much as Kim's or mine's or anyone else. So feel free to agree, disagree, share what you think about it. My first question, before we dive into how we champion, what are the barriers and all of that, I wanted to hear from you first, but then also from the audience. Why do we do this type of work? Why championing is important? And the other thing is, who is actually entitled to champion women? Is it someone on C-level? Can it be a man? Because I have a lot of colleagues who ask me, but this is for women, I cannot be there. And I was like, well, everyone can champion women. At least that's what I feel. So what's your take on that? Why this job is important, and why I think it's responsibility of all of us?
Okay, I'll say one thing to start. It's important because it happens for everyone at different levels. So this is not about some people get championed and some people don't. What happens is we're all in an environment in technology where there are certain groups who use the champion network or use their mentor network or know how to network and know how to get promoted and move up in the world. And there are those that don't know how to do it and don't take advantage of it. So it's not as if We need it as a group of people that are generally unrepresented in the workplace, and especially in technology. It's not that we need it because we don't have the skill set that should be able to get us the job. It's because um, uh, the way people get jobs is both through, and we're going to talk a lot about this, both through the quality of their work and the quality of their contributions, but it's also about who believes in the quality of our work and believes in the quality of our contributions, is willing to advocate for us, give us access to networks and possibilities in general, that makes it important that we participate in engaging those networks and engaging our own champions to help us in our careers. So, in other words, I will say this for the men in the group. Men have done a very good job over the many decades that they have been in business of using their networks to promote themselves, to make people aware of their contributions, to put them into the rooms and the opportunities where they can then earn these opportunities. Um, that 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 whole format, that framework, has not been properly utilized by women for a variety of reasons we can talk about. I think people understand why. To your second question, I want to add on to that first question. The second reason why we need to do it is because we are underrepresented. Full stop. Okay, there's so many reasons for this. I could not tell you all the reasons, and you know most of them. But we are underrepresented in these places, and there's also sometimes, in many cases, a bias towards our wonderful male friends in this environment. Um, I've been in this situation myself. I'll tell you plenty of stories if you're interested. I've been in technology for 30 years. I have been in many situations where I myself had more skills and more experience than the person who was promoted into the role that I wanted. And that was due to bias. It could be bias that the people hiring wanted to hire someone like them because they felt more comfortable. It could be bias that, for example, with women, when we are direct, when we are assertive, what does that mean sometimes? It can be perceived by other genders and other cultures as something other than assertive. So the same behavior that a woman does, and I still face this today. I have the privilege of being in a senior role, so people have to kind of give me sort of like, they're sort of biased towards, she must know what she's doing. But there is an undercurrent of bias, even at my level, where people feel uncomfortable with assertive behaviors or direct feedback. And that's a delicate line that I have to balance. I don't get to be like my male peers. And sometimes that works against me. I am direct because I have things to do. I want to succeed in business. And sometimes that means I'm instead measured on likability. Okay, I don't know how many of you this resonates. Okay, in many of and this happens to all of us women, and for women, when we are reviewed, we are often reviewed for the biases. Is she likable? Like, I've heard this many times in my career. I had a manager I did not get along with, and he's like, you're not very likable. You don't, first of all, which is just not true. I know that's not true. Okay. What he was saying is he didn't like me. And he didn't like me because I wasn't what he expected a woman should be. And that bias is so subtle that you can't really call it out. So I would say the second reason why we need champions and to be champions for each other, and we need champions and networks and allies, is because there's so much unconscious bias that works against us in the workplace. And therefore, we have to do something a little bit extra in order to help ourselves get the same positions that our male peers can get without without having to do that. So that's the second thing I would say. You asked me another question. And if I get off track, you will bring me back. Okay.
You're good.
Who can be champions? What do you think I'm going to say? I got nothing to teach this crew. Everybody. So when I was an individual contributor, I started my career in sales, and that's where I spent most of my career. When I was a low-level nobody, let's just in terms of work profile, I was the powerless person at the bottom. I started advocacy. So I would see these, and I'm just kind of a warrior when it comes to this. Like, this has always really mattered to me. Justice matters to me. But I would see my female peers being diminished, not put up for promotions, made to feel small, evaluated based on their likability or how attractive they were or whatever it was. Even in my early powerless days, I always tried to find ways to augment the voices of my peers. Whether that meant doing things like, I love like when Obama was the president of the United States, he had a very female dominant cabinet. And they had this thing that they would do when someone outside of their group would talk over them or interrupt them or take their ideas. Have you all heard this story?
No.
And they all had this agreement that they would repeat what someone else said. So if you had an idea and somebody took it or talked over you, how often does that happen? Okay, it's unconscious. We can't totally blame them, but it happens. Okay, we get talked over a lot. People take our ideas. One of the ways I found to be an advocate was to just repeat what my female peers said. To make sure that I amplified when they were out of the room. You know what? Madeline did that. I do that a lot today too. But so I was at the bottom of the pile in the workplace. I was an advocate for my peers. You can do that too. Amplifying the accomplishments of your female peers. And by the way, I'm not telling you to blow smoke up their skirts, to turn them into something they aren't. There's a lot of great work that's happening with our peers. It's just a matter of awareness, spreading that awareness. Now, and then when I was in the middle of the pack, when I was a frontline leader or a second line leader, I just hired a lot of women. I'll give you a story. In my first job, I was managing a small business sales team. And my peer, who I loved and is a friend of mine, he was great. But we'd get a candidate and we'd fight over that candidate. And we got a candidate once who was planning on having kids. She'd mentioned that she was going to have her second kid. And unfortunately, his unconscious bias was, ooh, this could be a problem for me. I'm going to hire her. She's going to go on maternity leave. And that's no good. And I was like, fine, I'll take her. I think she's amazing. So I overlooked my own potential, I don't know, the potential downside of hiring a woman who's going to go have a kid. Because what I know about women who have children is if you want a job done right, you give it to them. They know how to prioritize, right? So I actually have the opposite bias. I'm like, I hire women who are coming off mat leave, who are ready to come back to work. I'm like, they know how to prioritize their time. They know what they're going to get done. So in the middle of the pack, one of the things that I did was I just hired women. I looked for women. I do a lot of recruiting of women. Like, I reach out to people who I think are going to be great, and I follow up with them for years until they're ready to come work for me. And then, of course, as where I am now in this organization, I do the same thing. I always make sure that when I'm hiring for a new slate, that I'm looking at not only women, I'm looking for diversity of thought, diversity of background. I'm a huge advocate for LGBTQ awareness in the workplace. And I do that as much as possible. One thing that drives me absolutely nuts, that makes me so mad, are allies who sit on a panel and say, like, this matters to me. And then they still have, their whole team is men. Like, if it matters to you, you should see it in your results, right? So I actually measure myself by outcomes. How many women have I mentored? For example, I've always mentored my peers. I've mentored people who were, I feel like could have used my advice, that were maybe above me. And I always have, probably more mentors than I have time for, to make sure that I'm helping them, giving them access to jobs, building their awareness of what they can do to get those jobs. That was a long answer.
No, that was good. Now catch your breath. I want to hear from you. I can go first to tell a story or to mention one of the people who championed you. So when you think about someone who helped you, who saw you, who pushed you up, or at least put you the same level as the others in your team, who you think of? I think of my team. My team is made of women mostly. And women know to be mean to each other. They can be jealous, or we are just, territorial. We can be like that. And in our team, what I feel is that we are friends, but they're also very critical about each other's work. We don't have a problem of going out for a drink and the next day criticizing each other's work to make us do better. And that's one of the things for me, it's important. Someone agreeing with me is not helping me grow. Someone being critical and giving me feedback is helping me grow. So that's one of the things I feel that we can champion each other, is giving honest feedback to each other. Now you. Come on, we have some nice presents for those who dare to speak. I can just start choosing. I know your names. Okay, wait. We have Soraya from our digital team.
Yay, Soraya.
We don't have Daniela here. I think a lot of you know her. She's my peer. It's a Turkey.
Closer to your mouth.
Turn it on. This is also a way to champion women, is helping them and teaching them how to use technology. Thank you, Andre.
Our team, probably. And I think I think I was very lucky throughout my career, because at least in every team that I joined, it was mostly men, especially at the leadership. And there was one woman there, like here and in my previous company. And I think they were both very relieved that they had a woman there. And they both, Daniela especially here, but also in my previous company, they felt like they immediately became my ally. And Daniela advocates a lot for me, and she helped me a lot. She was the person that helped me the most when I came in. It wasn't the man, actually, it was her. So I think that made a lot of difference. And until today, we are close friends and we help each other very much. And I think that makes a lot of difference, because I think men, they have their groups, they have their topics, and they tend to connect more amongst each other, right? They have more similarities. And when women try to compete, you just lose your natural ally. So I think, at least for me, that made a lot of impact. It made my life here much easier, my onboarding much easier. So I wish he was here to listen this. But
She's
I'm
going
very,
to join, she said.
I'm very thankful for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
It's-
sharing.
It's a gift.
And
It's one of the reasons why we really do need to hire more women, to be the only of a type, whether it's the only woman on your team, the only LGBTQ, the only person of color on your team. It creates sort of a feeling of otherness, which sort of compounds on itself. And that's why we look for someone who's like us. And when there's a whole team of men, they have a whole team to choose from. And when you're the only woman, of course we can find allies, but there's something to having someone like yourself on a team. When I first became a VP at Salesforce, for the first time, a month later went to an offsite, and I looked around the room, and it was me and 75 white guys. I mean, I ended up, I love many of them. They were great human beings, but I felt very othered. The other thing that it does to you as well is you start, like, women are different than men in many ways in the way we relate. And I didn't feel like I could really grow into my style, my way of being, because I sort of felt this need to be like the guys. Right. I went through a stage where I was like, be like the guys. I'm over that now. Okay. But I did. I tried to become more masculine and more assertive, but I'll tell you that doesn't work either because they don't like that on us. It's sort of a
Yeah.
weird, where they give you some credit for playing golf or, doing the things that they do, but they kind of hold it against you too. So, like, it's just better to be yourself. And it's easier to be yourself when you have peers that are like you. Yeah.
That's true.
Anybody else have any other good stories? Yes.
Mention two sides or two different sides that mean a lot to me. Yes. As a good champion for women, I must called Christina, because in the middle of more than 150 people, mainly men, she's a brilliant leader, absolutely, and she's a female. And I honestly think that you are bringing a huge impact in the professional services team, being a woman and be a reference, not only as a leader, but a woman that is a leader. Yes, for sure. And you are always supporting the female that you work with. And you make statements, you position our work within the rest of the team. And so I can say that I'm more confident at the job that I do because of you, okay? And the space that you provide. Yes. And the other side comes with my team, the people team, the PSMs team. We are mainly women as well. And we need basically, or mainly in the PSM group, there is Rafa, of course, but we are mainly women, and we support a lot on each other for our daily challenges. There are a lot, and so I also confide on them to learn, to share, to brainstorm, to vent, and so they are also very important for me. Yeah. So
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you for sharing.
Let's make sure she gets a present too.
Yes, present for Anna. And I think that when we speak about championing, we can do that everywhere. It's not only about women. There are women, for example, I always felt less because I didn't speak Portuguese when I first moved here. All my teams were always Portuguese people, and I didn't speak Portuguese. And I felt bad speaking English. Then I spoke really bad Portuguese at the time. So it was embarrassing. And in that time, you also need someone who's going to push for you, someone who's going to correct you, someone who's going to insist, someone who's going to ask you, what do you prefer? And we have to think about that also when it comes to women, whether they're new, just joined. We are all different, right? So I always like to ask of which language do you prefer if you are a foreigner? We just did that a few minutes ago, right? Or do you prefer having meetings in the morning or afternoon? You don't need to ask someone if they have kids. Just ask them what time of the day they prefer. That it's easy like that, because I know a lot of people can be, feel uncomfortable about asking questions or not being sure about things. But there are many type of ways, and I think we need to understand different realities and just help each other. So championing around women has a lot of flavors and a lot of different things that we need to think about. I know you had a question for the group about obstacles and barriers that can come up.
Oh yeah, we can go there if you like. I would love to know. I have a hypothesis, and I sat and thought about it a little bit before this meeting about what have I seen? What do I think the biggest obstacles are in the workplace for us women? But I'd like to open it up to you first. What do you think? We've talked a little bit about unconscious bias. Maybe there's something you'd expand on there. The sort of the feeling of being the only one. What have you got for us?
Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She has no problem with her voice.
It's only because of people who are remote, because they cannot hear it.
I think that's something that unconsciously happens more with women, even if it does with men as well, is the imposter syndrome.
Mhm.
We're always going to think that we're not good enough. We're always going to think that everything we do could have been better. And I think that in the 10 years that I've been working in tech surrounded by men, I've always thought maybe he didn't do as much as I did, but he got way more credit or way more kudos for something that I feel I do on a daily basis, and it's just taken for granted. And I think that having people such as yourself or Christina or other women in leadership positions makes us believe that we can do it and we can get it and we can make it. And I think that it's so subconscious, the
I
fact
know.
that we don't think we're going to do it, but seeing people doing it and getting that validation that we can actually be that girl boss, kind of makes us, believe and actually champion other people and not feeling diminished for something that they can actually do.
Okay, I love this topic. Can I talk for just a
Of
minute
course.
on it? Okay.
100%.
Okay. Imposter syndrome. I have a conflict in my brain about whether I like or hate imposter syndrome. I think it's good because it's put words to this thing that's happening at the back of many of our brains. I think it's bad too because it almost implies we're imposters. Okay. I do think we have a confidence problem. Okay. We have a confidence problem. I'll give some examples. This first started occurring to me when I became a manager, and it was time for performance reviews. And my team would file in and they would rate themselves. And I would say on a scale of 1 to 5, 3 being, I'm doing the job, 5, I'm a rock star. Where do you think you land? And then I would dig in on certain areas, of competencies in the job. I noticed something that happened every single time. And I know, most of you know what I'm going to say. Okay. The men came in and they were like, I'm a 5. Every time. Like sometimes 4.5. But men have this confidence thing. They'd be like, well, I'm going to try to be humble. I'm a 4.5. Okay. Regardless of skill set, high level of skills and competencies or low level. I'm telling you, I had some people who were terrible at their jobs tell me they were 5s, and it's happened for the next 20 years. It happens every year around. I see it again and again. It's a pattern. What happens with the women? The women come in and they're so realistic. They're like, I didn't do everything perfectly. Okay. There's a perfection paradigm in our brains where we have to be so good at our jobs and absolutely perfect in everything we do, and then we will deserve maybe a 3.5 or a 4. And I as a leader, I would sit down with these women and I would say, you're wrong about yourself. For the ones that were wrong, okay, I don't pump the tires of every woman that comes across my I'm very particular about the people that I endorse strongly, and they are the people that are great. And there are a lot of them who think they are 3s. It's like the image of the cat looking in the mirror and seeing the lion. That's the men. The women are lions, and they look in the mirror and see little kitty cats, and it drives me crazy. But I get why we do it. It's culturally, it's programmed into us. We have internalized it. Get awareness around this. Don't do it anymore. You don't have to be perfect. I will tell you, almost everyone in positions of power, men and women are like, you would be shocked at what they don't know and what they can't do well. Everybody's faking it for part of their job. Okay. And now we're all using AI to tell us the answers to things that we should know the answers to. Everybody has incompetencies, even when you look up at them and you're like, she or he must be so great. I'm telling you, I've worked with a lot of executives where I'm like, how did you get this job? Okay. I don't know how many of you are on social media, but there's this thing going around where women are doing really like traditional male activities and they're like, how hard can it be? Boys do it. And I think it's funny because the truth is, yeah, we can learn anything that anyone else can do. Stop thinking you have to be perfect in order to be great. Many of you are moms, and there's no such thing as a perfect mom, okay? Because there's things you're going to juggle and you're going to forget something. But are you good moms? Yes, of course. Your kids think you're great. So the second reason why you've got to get rid of that bad mindset is because when you rate yourself a 3, people believe you. Okay? If you walk into a manager's office, I don't care if it's a woman or a man, and you say, I'm doing a 3, your boss is probably like, okay, she's a 3. Make your boss tell you that you're not a 5. Okay? Walk in and go like, hey man, I know I'm not perfect, but I am crushing it. I'm accomplishing my goals. I'm learning every day. I'm like, just find the courage to be positive about yourself and tell them you're a 5. And then if your boss says you're actually a 4.5, good, you started the negotiation at a high level. Okay. What you say about yourself is what people believe. And we as women, what men may not know is men relate to each other, at least in my culture, men relate to each other by bragging. I'm gonna crush you in this game. I'm better than you at basketball, whatever. That's a relational tactic. Women, what do? We relate through our weaknesses. I'm like, oh, I'm terrible too. You don't need to be worried about that, or, whatever. We do that. The problem in business is if you say it, people will believe it. Oh, she's a 3. So we got to get rid of this idea of imposter syndrome. This job, I'll be honest, I manage more functions than I've ever managed before in my life. And I manage functions that like I don't actually know. I have never managed a professional services team. Thank God for Christina. Thank God she's educated me. But when I took the job, someone said, do you have imposter syndrome? And I'm like, no, I got the job. I'm going to learn. I will figure it out. Yeah, I feel like I should be smarter some days. Yes, I feel that. But no, I don't have imposter syndrome. They gave me the job. I'm going to do the job. Same as how you should be. Okay, I'll sit down now.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Anna. I'm just wanted to share. I'm in talent acquisition, so I see a lot of that also in interviews. When women do the interviews, they sell themselves like what they really are and what they really done, and the male do the I've done it all and I can do even more. So it's difficult also to get these women talking more about themselves and selling themselves more because of that, because we always think we deserve the 3. And I was just going to share this.
Yeah.
It's sad to see sometimes.
It hurts to see it.
It is.
I
is sad.
don't say we have to be exactly like the men, okay, in this way, but because I'll tell you, I have a lot of interviews where someone will say, somebody who had a mid-level manager job, they'll be like, I took my last company from 100,000 to 10 billion. And I'm like, you did that? But that should tell you how far off we are from our own evaluations of ourselves. I had to retell my story a little bit because my story was kind of like, I work really hard, I've been honored to be successful these years. I'm not honored. Like I achieved success and here was my success. It's just it's a new language for us women that we need to get used to because recruiters, they're feeling it. They're hearing it.
And role models are important because what Andrea said and what we mentioned, seeing women achieving things, it's important. I always remember the story of university that had in the hallway when you enter, they have a picture of all the deans, and they were all men. white men. And then they ask one of the professors there, like, why she doesn't consider to apply and become a dean or whoever the process is. And she said, I never thought about that because every day I enter into that building, I saw man faces, right? So only when someone start asking her or giving her telling her, but you can do that as well. So what we see unconsciously, I think, affects of things what we can do actually. And that's why having C-level or managers or athletes or whatever that represents you in any case, in any sense, or the cartoon where they wear glasses, a princess wears the glasses, right? Whatever represent, wherever we can see ourselves, I think it's important. So we need to push for that. And that's why I love seeing men here as well, because I think it goes other way around. For example, I'm going to talk at the conference and all agenda, every single speaker is a woman. And it's about social impact. So it's not a female topic. We're not going to speak about, giving birth and I don't know. So I ask organizers, I mean, even more men are going to speak about that if you're going to. So I ask organizers why it's only female. They're like, well, we didn't have male. So go and find them. We need diversity in speakers,
Yeah,
same as we
always.
need and the female. And that also happened with one of our conferences a couple of years ago. We didn't have a female speaker on a call for speakers. And someone asked why we don't have. It's like, no one submitted. It's like, so you go and tell them they can talk at the conference. Go
Yeah.
and tell them that something they did was amazing and they should come to the stage and talk about that. So
Well, that's probably because women wait to be invited, and men are like, "I want to be on stage." We also have to take opportunities. Like it's on us a little bit to take those opportunities. There was one year as a salesperson that I closed a really big deal, and they invited me to be on stage, and it was me and there were 4 other guys. I was the most junior of the speakers. I was down in the org, and these guys were enterprise sellers. And at the last minute, I was already mic'd up. I was nervous, but I was like, I'm going to do this. I was mic'd up and they came and said to me, oh, we're running out of time. We're going to boot you. We're going to take you off stage. And with a shake in my voice, I said, no, I refuse. Kick one of the men off the stage. And because I was like, here's why it's important. That was my moment to shine. Don't steal it from me. First of all, selfish. Okay. Second of all, I could not bear that there weren't going to be any women on the stage. It was my responsibility. And I was in a place where I could step in and be the woman on the stage. I was also representing a lower segment of our business. I was representing my team. I felt a lot of responsibility. And at that moment, I could have just been like, okay, compliant female, doing what she's told. And I refused. And I mean, it really caused a kerfuffle. Like they stared at me and they were like, these guys are so important. And I just stood there sort of shaking in my boots and they kicked a guy off the stage. And that moment honestly was a big career moment for me because there was a leader in the business who came up to me afterwards. I remember because I had a very memorable outfit on. I wore hot pink. It was very professional, but they took videos of me that day and then played them around the world because I was one of the only women on the stage. And then people remembered me, and that helped me later in my career as I was moving up in the organization. And there was a leader who came up to me afterwards and she was like, this meant so much to me that you were on the stage. And so now whenever I take an opportunity for myself, I think about all the women behind me that I'm also helping. So it's not for me totally selfish. It is, and I'm not a ladder climber at all costs, really. I love what I do. That's why I am where I am. But I want to bring however many people I can behind me. And I felt that was my responsibility at that moment. We can all do it. We can all do it, right? Everyone can do it. Okay, another obstacle that what do you think stands against us in the workplace? So yours was the mentality of being an imposter. Did anybody else have one?
None, right?
Oh, look, we got another one. Good.
You briefly mentioned one. I think it's motherhood, of course, because you spend a lot of time at least when you're pregnant, you're not the same, right?
Yeah.
And then you go home and you have to go to be at home. And then I think that even after you have the kid, it's still the majority of all the baby related stuff also is with the mother. So even though there's more equality right now, but there's at least the time you're pregnant and
Yep.
after you give birth, that you cannot escape from that, right? So
Yep.
I think that also, at least I think it doesn't affect everyone, but I think it affects in some ways. And
I mean, at a bare minimum, it takes you out of the workplace for a while, and your peers are getting promoted, and it takes time when you get back to kind of get back to that space. I think that's absolutely an obstacle. One of the things that I don't know Portugal as well, but one of the things that I coach mothers to be on is you have to leave the workplace with the intensity that you had, with the same intensity that you've had previously. So it's really important that people remember you as you go out on pregnancy leave at your peak performance. It's also important that you go to your leadership and you get them to review you before you leave for maternity leave. How long is maternity leave in Portugal? 5 or 6 weeks? Oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay. 5 or 6 months. Guess what? People are going to, some cases 9 months. In Canada, it's a year, and people can extend. Okay. So, but the problem is that people forget the quality of your work, and you have to reapply for that same work when you get back often. That stinks. That's not good. What I recommend that people do prior to going out is you go get a performance review and you prepare for that performance review. I am, like, this is very important to me. This is why I want to do it now. I want to come back to my career. I want to be on an upward trajectory when I get back. You got to state your expectations. It's another thing we women don't do very well. Like, hey, I have an expectation that when I come back, that I am still on the same track I'm on now, where I'm either moving forward or getting a promotion or stepping back in the same role. You set those expectations before going out. You ask for a performance review so that your manager has it in writing, how fantastic you are. Your manager could get fired or move on while you're gone. I've seen this happen to many women. They come back and they've got a new manager, and the new manager's like, I don't know who this mom pregnant lady is, but I'll find her a place in my organization. You got to start all over again. That's the really hard part for women. If you come back to somebody who knows the quality of your work, like if you and I sit down and you share with me all the stuff you've done, I become properly impressed, I've put it in writing, then I know what an asset I have when you come back. Or if I'm not here, the next person you can send your performance review onto, and they know what an asset you are, and they can restart your career a little faster. Doesn't mean you won't be behind, but it does help a bit.
Hi. So, talking about obstacles, I think one of the obstacles, for instance, in sales, is that a lot of the networking that men do is over beer and discussing football. I don't mind the beer part, but the football, I don't really care. And I think it's important that we women forge our own networks as well. And one initiative that would be interesting for me as a woman here in OutSystems is mentorship, because we do have the buddies for the onboarding, and I'm a buddy for people that are onboarded in OutSystems, and it's great, but we don't have really, female mentorship to help us move upwards in terms of positions. And it's not like that, we go and, discuss football and beers. Of course, we can enjoy, moments outside work, but it would be nice to have something a little bit more formal in terms of mentorship. I think that would be a great asset for us. That's just an idea.
I love the idea. And it's a yes and start now. So go ask someone to be your mentor, but let me give you a little bit of advice on that. Don't make it so heavy. It's a big responsibility to be the mentor. Okay. But everyone can mentor each other. So, like if you wanted, let's say you wanted some advice from me, and you came to me and said, "Will you be my mentor?" I'd be thinking like, "Oh my God, I have so much to do. I don't know if I have room in my." But you could come to me and say, and use me for something small. Listen, Kim, I want to have a career conversation with you. This happens to me all the time, and you're welcome to do it. Okay, you might have to schedule in May, but a calendar, a wait list. Okay, I did used to do that. I used to have an hour on my calendar every Friday for anyone who wanted that kind of thing, and I was very present for it. It was difficult, but people would just sign up. I'm not doing that right now, but maybe again someday. But you can like use each other. Like I see you, and you're really good at X, and I want to know how you do it. That I'm not coming to you for mentorship. I'm saying I need to talk to you about how you've achieved certain things in your career. Let me share with you my problem, and I want to see if you have some advice for me. It's a smaller ask. It's easier for us to do for each other. So that's the first thing I'd say. Do it with the men. Okay. The men are going for beer and football because they love that. They're not aware that we feel left out or that we don't have the same opportunities. So create those opportunities. Hey, male idol, you're really good at this. I'd like to spend 15 minutes with you today and probably once a month, asking you questions about my career or how I approach my job or whatever it is. Ask in small bites. Just start doing it with each other, doing it with executives, doing it with mid-level people who can help you, men and women alike. But come with a specific ask. It's too hard to be somebody's therapist for all the things, right? That's what we have therapists for. Do we do therapy in Portugal? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. She's in therapy. Okay. I'm in therapy. So we're together. It's good. It's good.
Advice.
It's great. Like start thinking about advice in micro moments. All of these people, I got to see Tiago in the back of the room. Tiago is a brilliant human being. And he has lots of wisdom. Figure out what wisdom you want from him. Be clear and ask him for 20 minutes of his time to do it. I bet you he'll say yes.
And if you have to leave one action point from this session, if you're a leader, have a team, block 1 hour a week for your team, or if you're looking for a mentor, look for someone you can talk to. That's your homework for today.
homework.
I think
Yeah.
we all need this conversation, whether we are managing or not, whether we need it. We need maybe sometimes a reality check.
Yeah.
We have a couple of questions for people who are remote.
Okay.
So, okay, Molly asking, how have you integrated your authentic personality into a role that traditionally demands a specific type?
Boy, this is a complicated answer.
It is. That's why I'm asking before we go for a wine.
I've been through I've been through all the phases of trying to fit in, trying to be like the men on my team. For a long time, I hid a significant part of myself because I was certain it wouldn't be respected. I'll say, not only was I a woman among 75 peers that were men, but also personally, I'm kind of more on the liberal side. Now we're talking American politics. Maybe that's terrible, but I have I like to go to music festivals, which is kind of seem like kind of crazy to your average, married with children, golf playing, beer drinking guy. Like all those things are great, but those are not me. I was very different in this environment. I hid that about myself for a long time. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's always worth it to be yourself, even if sometimes it isn't accepted. Because we're not going to be accepted 100%. No one's accepted 100% anyway. You might as well experience a little bit of lack of acceptance while you're being yourself. And I realize I have kind of an out there personality. I like to have fun. I like to make jokes. I like to play. I like to make light of work. And not everybody likes that. Like some people are like, that's unserious. By the way, I'm very serious about what I do, but I also like to bring a levity to it that not everybody likes. But guess what? It's just who I am. So I will acknowledge it's easier to be yourself the more power you have. Okay, it's easier, but it's not impossible. When I was in AE, the reason I was successful as a seller is because I just had my own style of connecting with other human beings that maybe was different than some of my peers. So I just say, just be yourself, because there's no one strategy that's going to work, and that one is the most fun.
You're already spending a lot of energy, so pretending you're someone else is just going
Yeah,
to
it is. Now, there are rules. It's like culture. Okay. So somebody was telling me about the Portuguese culture. No, wait, was she talking about Portugal? Yes, she was. Portuguese culture. When you really care for somebody, you cook for them. Is this true? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a way of showing love. And she moved to another country and she was trying to make friends and nobody invited her over for dinner. And she felt really lonely, like they must not love me. So there's, there are cultural norms that you want to be aware of, and there's work norms. Work norms are, sometimes we have to wear a suit and we have to look the part. But you can always add a little bit of your own self to it. Like, I love your style, by the way. Splash of bright color and a gorgeous scarf. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. This woman is being herself through her clothing. I see it. I see it up front. We got very stylish women who are being themselves. So just, it's just better.
I agree with everything that you just said.
You got to play the part
Even
sometimes.
in the NGO world, you have to do all of the things that you just said.
Yeah.
So it's not just technology that is
No,
difficult,
the
it's
same.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Other environments,
Yeah.
But we need role models, female role models in leadership also, to guide us and for us to think, oh, it's possible.
Yeah.
And but my main champion was a man, so
Yeah.
he's the president.
You know what men are great at?
Sorry.
One of the things did you have something else to say too?
No, I was saying that my
Okay.
main champion was a man. Of course, all of my the team, but we are already a very expanded team, but we all support each other. But it was also a path in the organization for us to support each other before we were supporting everyone else, because we were focused on everyone else and not internally in each other.
We do that a lot.
So it's but we are there. It's good, and but I see everything that you just said. People speaking above us, or sometimes I use my clothes in the opposite way, just to for them to pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
Because
mad
if
at
you are
myself.
colorful, people will look at you, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I like colors.
Yeah,
By the way.
that's why I presented that day in hot. It was in hot pink. No, I was
Also
very
have a
professional,
blazer, hot
but I
pink.
wanted to be memorable. Yeah, so you can use your clothing to express yourself and also to get people's attention.
That's true.
Yeah.
And to show that you're not intimidated by anyone. I
That's
think
also
sometimes
true.
also shows.
And that you are fun. If you have colorful clothes,
Mhm.
people think you're also fun, and at the same time, it just brings us together, which is basically the most important thing, isn't it? To create a connection with each other. So
Mhm.
thank you.
Okay, we have 6 more minutes.
Okay. What do you want to do?
We are not ending here, so we are going to close the official part, if you can call it like that. We are going to move there and just have a glass of wine, something to eat, and continue these conversations. I don't know how you want to wrap this up.
What do you want? What does the audience want?
I'd like to say something.
Yeah.
Empowering women it's not only needed in the workshop, but
Wait,
to all
just
of
a
our-
little bit so people
Okay.
at home.
Here.
Thank you.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to say that empowering women and role modeling, it's something we need in all of our lives. So it's the village. We need a village. It might be one person. It might be someone around us. We might be the village to someone, but we're all a village, and we need everything that can help us go through our lives.
Yes, I agree. I couldn't agree more. It's what we're missing in modern society. But we just have to go looking for it.
You get the present.
I also had things to share, but I'm not sharing. I would just like to say that this was so inspiring. I'm so happy that I came here. Truly, Kim, the words that you are sharing, everything everyone is saying, bringing all these, women together, share, and all the insights you are sharing, they resonate so much. Thank you so much for promoting the event. I think everyone is getting out with a takeaway, at least one takeaway. I'm so thankful because I think I'm not on the right side. There's so much I could be doing. I'm learning a lot from all of you. There's so much more that I could be doing. So I will definitely try to double down in some of the things
Okay,
that we are.
Christina. We're going to ask you, and then the audience is going to keep it real. Are you on a scale of 1 to 5? How good of an advocate for women are you?
Now, honestly, my evaluation would be, between the, no, I could be doing much more. Honestly,
Yeah, that's
I
what
could
we
be
all
doing
say.
much more.
Oh, I could be.
And I've learned a lot today, and thank you so much for the words. They mean a lot to me, but I could be doing so much more. Actually, I'm already organizing an event, but truly, it was so inspiring.
Okay.
The insights you shared, the ideas you shared. Sometimes we just need to stop and have these conversations so that we stop to think a little bit about this.
So we do this
stuff.
again?
So Christina,
We should.
I can't leave it like that. You're a 5 and you're going to do more.
Definitely.
Because
I'm
if you
going
look
to do
around
more.
this room, the way I feel about you and the way the person that spoke about you, it sounds like a 5. So call yourself a 5 and you're doing even more.
Thank
I'll
you.
close
Thank
there.
you. But these are very inspiring. So thanks for organizing.
And any of our allies have something to share?
Oh. We want to hear from the men. You'll never come back because we're putting you on the spot.
Was this inspiring for you?
Did you learn anything? Was it good to be here?
They were afraid to leave.
Look, they're sitting halfway out the aisle, so like as if ready to sprint. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. Okay.
Good, Tiago.
Well, as Soraya was saying, there was only one woman before, and now there's at least 3, if I'm missing 4. So it's almost like it's not yet 50%, but we're getting there.
That's great. For those of you online, this is Tiago Azevedo.
Well, I have 3 daughters, one amazing wife. It's amazing to hear all of it that you're saying, and it creates a lot of awareness for the rest of us, both at home, in the workplace, with our friends. It's funny you were talking about the maternity leave and how people have to fight for their jobs. In the place where I was before, my biggest lieutenant was, at that point in time, a woman, and she's amazing. And she had to fight for the life of her daughter for 1 year. I took my job and her job for that year, and so that when she came back, she had the exact place that she left before. And I hired some contractors to support me, but I kept the space intact so that she could pick it up as soon as she came back.
That's amazing.
And when I left to come here, she took my job. I gave her. It's one of the biggest accomplishments when you leave your job done and you leave a successor. And that was an amazing woman.
Oh, I love that
Well
story.
done.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Tiago. Thank you. Oh, Ricardo.
I think me.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm here. So some learnings, 1 hour booked in my calendar for the entire team.
Well done.
I already have role models in the company as women. And fortunately, this is a company with lots of very bright women that I look up to. And I'm not only pointing at Christina because she will be embarrassed, but there are others, plenty more in different areas that I look as mentors as well, like more or less like what you're saying before, not looking at the specific mentor, but when I have some doubts, I know to whom I need to go to, and typically it's women that I get advice from. Just another comment. I fully appreciate the topic related with being pregnant. I felt that in the team. We had someone that was pregnant and she was struggling herself by being absent and feeling and the stress that she was in because she took a long time. She needed it. And she was in stress. And I felt that because she was concerned the amount of things that are changing. It's not only on the position side and the feeling that others may go be promoted while she is out, but the fact that we are in a very high intensive market, lots of things are changing, and if you get out of the place for any kind of reason, we feel very fast over past. So it's difficult for anyone, especially, of course, women, if they stay a long time outside being pregnant in this specific time of the life. So fully appreciate it. I really understand that.
That's true.
Thank you.
My 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that while in history, women usually stick together and you have, well, over since the caveman times, but we didn't see that in the workplace 15 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't know if you feel the same, but my experience was it was much harder to have a female leader. And I've seen the evolution of that. And a few years ago, here in OutSystems, I was managing a team of all women, and I had a poster. Filippa was there. I had a poster behind my desk saying, "Real queens fix each other's crowns."
Yes.
Yes.
And I am so grateful to see that today OutSystems is full of powerful women that really sponsor each other and support each other. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
And let me add to that, not only OutSystems, but also OutSystems community. So thank you for the community that are also doing amazing job. I have two things for the end. One, we are going to continue this conversation at 1, if not before. At 1 in Amsterdam, we are going to have some, I'm not going to tell you what, but we are going to have some activities that are going to be basically a continuity of this conversation. So I hope you will all join and be there. And second, one person I forgot to say thank you that made all this possible, Katerina.
Okay. It's been lovely to spend this time with you. Thank you for coming.
And now let's have a drink and talk about fashion and football or whatever you feel like. Thank you all.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye to everyone online.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us.